This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Stepping back in time, PSU alumni who protested decades ago return to campus. The message they want to share with future generations.
We're also talking about kids and smartphones this morning because there's a new movement across the country led by parents who want to delay when kids get their first phone. So we're going to give you a chance to weigh in on what age is the right age with today's Sunrise poll question. That's coming up here in less than 10 minutes.
And hop on Instagram, Pinterest, or any of the realty websites, and mid-century modern style is all over the place. If you're not sure what that looks like, think the show Mad Men. More and more of those homes from the 40s to the 70s are coming onto the market now as their original owners pass on, while local realtors say they are being treated as works of art.
Ooh, that is cool. All right, this is cute. We are live at the Oregon Humane Society this morning, and that is 6-month-old Ziggy. He's going to be ready for adoption very soon. What a cutie. The Humane Society, by the way, getting ready for a big fundraiser called Doggy Dash. It's going to be back at the waterfront this weekend. We'll have more on that coming up throughout the show. Oh, those little
look
brown
sleepy.
eyes. We're all sleepy.
What time is this? 5:01?
Yeah, it doesn't look overly exciting.
What day is this?
Tired.
Thursday? Who's this guy? Rodney Hill talking about a rainy day. Another
Ziggy.
rainy day back with us.
Yeah, I go back to sleep. There's not much need to get up until tomorrow. Here's a look at our radar. We had a dry overnight. Showers have started to pick up in the past couple of hours. And then what you're looking at here on the west side as we get going into the mid-morning hours will quickly fill in the gaps and become steady rain. The front is back here, and we will get the heavier rain with some gusty south winds coming in this afternoon. So once the rain picks up this morning, we won't get a break from it until the front passes, and that's going to be somewhere in that 3 to 4 o'clock hour today. It looks like 51 right now, so it's a very comfortable morning temperature-wise to step outside. Well, I think by 7, 8 o'clock we'll have steady rain in the area of 50 degrees. It'll still be raining and 50 at noon, so cool afternoon coming. And then when the kids get out of school around 3 o'clock, that's right when the front comes in. That could be some gusty south winds, some heavy rain downpours at that time, and the temperature, yes, right about 50 degrees. Back to you.
All right, Rod, it's full forecast coming up here in about 8 minutes, but right now we do want to get to our top story this morning. It's the latest information on a shooting that happened last night in the Lentz neighborhood of southeast Portland. Police arrested a man who fired shots at a passing car, injuring the driver with shattered glass.
Yeah, it was one of several calls police responded to yesterday, all involving this same guy. So the first call came in at 9 last night over reports he was armed with a handgun, threatening to kill himself and police. This was on Southeast Flavel Street. Both police and a mental health team tried to reach him and later called in the SWAT team to track him down. Police told people to stay inside as SWAT arrested him. They say at some point the suspect was shot, but we don't know by whom. He's now in the hospital and in custody. So far, police not releasing the suspect's name or charges against him.
We also have an update this morning in the investigation of the 13-year-old girl who was found dead this week in Beaverton. Beaverton police are now ruling her death a homicide. Milana Lee was first reported missing Sunday evening, and police found her body near a stream in Barrows Park on Tuesday afternoon. Lee was a 6th grader at Conestoga Middle School. Anyone with information is asked to contact Beaverton Police.
The FBI is offering a $15,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the murder of Danae Williams. This shooting happened a year ago today. Police say Williams and a friend were sitting at a stoplight at North MLK in Deacom when another car pulled up and started shooting. The friend survived, but Williams died the next day. Investigators initially believed this was some kind of dispute between two rival gangs, but they found out that Williams was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
On May 12, 2021, Danae took her dog Maxwell for a walk in the park. Then she went to dinner with a friend, and ultimately, tragically, she never made it home that night, through no fault of her own.
The FBI is offering similar rewards in 8 other cases. You'll find more on those on our website, kgw.com.
Well, Multnomah County health officials are urging people to mask up again indoors until COVID cases and hospitalizations decrease across Oregon. It's not a mandate, but a suggested precaution. The latest report from the Oregon Health Authority shows an average of 1,300 cases in the last week, with 1,400 reported yesterday. The trend is similar to the number we saw in February when Omicron began to slow down. Well, much anticipated 4th of July event in Vancouver now canceled. The city says the annual fireworks show at Fort Vancouver will not happen this year because of increased fire risk and understaffing. Instead, the city will hold its first ever Summer Fest with live music, games, and a movie in the park. It's on Sunday, July 3rd at Vancouver National Historic Reserve. The Oregon Department of Transportation going to be putting millions of dollars toward building more electric vehicle charging stations. ODOT says it plans to build more in the next 5 years, particularly in rural areas. The new sites will be spaced out roughly every 50 miles, and each will have at least 4 fast chargers. ODOT expects to break ground on those in 2023. And those are a few of your morning headlines.
There's a new plaque in the park blocks, Portland's park blocks, that commemorate the 1970 Vietnam War protests held by Portland State University students. Again, this week, 52 years ago. Those protests that week were part of a national movement, not only protesting the Vietnam War, but also protesting the deaths of 4 Kent State University students who were killed by the Ohio National Guard. Again, this all happened 52 years ago this week. Alma McCarty reflects on that day and those events, and also the ceremony held yesterday to remember it.
It was May 11th, 1970, when the Portland Tactical Police Squad clashed with peaceful PSU students and faculty. That month, students nationwide were on strike.
We actually believed we could slow the killings in Vietnam down a little bit. We hope that our efforts helped.
Even more joining the anti-war movement on May 4th, after 4 students were killed and nearly a dozen more injured by the Ohio National Guard at Kent State University.
It was spontaneous. The moment anybody heard about it, they left their class, they walked out, they were milling around, looking for something to do.
Kathy Wood-Wyrick.
What do we do now? We're angry. What do we do?
And Doug Weiskopf.
It all happened so quickly.
Were members of the PSU strike committee.
We joined with the national student strike and occupied the park blocks for a week while barricading the surrounding streets.
A lot of the people involved in the PSU strike were veterans of Vietnam.
Then, on May 11th, Portland leaders dispatched riot police to the park blocks to take down the strikers' hospital tent.
We feared for our lives, but peacefully stood our ground.
When 100 protesters refused to yield, officers attacked.
31 students, women and men, were sent to the hospital with injuries, and we quickly began organizing for a march the following morning, numbering 4,000 angry PSU students and faculty members to march on Portland City Hall to peacefully protest the police attack of May 11th.
More than 50 years later.
I wanted to set the record straight so that going forward, people would know what really happened.
By dedicating a plaque in the place it happened to ensure it becomes a permanent part of history.
I like to think it's not just something for people who were there at the time, but people who were there at the time. It was a turning point. It was something brave to do.
Dozens gathered in remembrance, looking back and looking ahead.
Things aren't going so well in the world, and we're hoping this is a little bit hopeful, that if people step out and start working again, maybe we can turn things around.
An important piece of history.
I'm here with my daughter.
Highlighted and preserved for future generations.
She told me she was proud of me, and that made everything worth it.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Well, see if this sounds familiar to you, because parents have been debating this question since smartphones came out. When is the right time to get your child a cell phone? Some parents are now pledging to wait until 8th. That's the name of a nationwide campaign urging parents to wait until their kids are in 8th grade to get a cell phone. The Today Show is interviewing the founder of this movement. They're talking about the benefits of delaying or at least limiting kids' exposure to phones. Look for that coming up at 7 o'clock this morning right after sunrise. But that pledge also started a big old conversation in our own newsroom, and we want to hear from you this morning. What do you think? What's the ideal age to get your kids a cell phone? Here are your choices: grade school, middle school, or high school. So far, most of you say high school. There's still time to join the conversation this morning. Go to KGW Sunrise on Twitter, and that poll is pinned right to the top of the page.
That's an interesting breakdown. 20, 30, 40%, you know, for each grade.
Early voting so far. I mean, I think those numbers are definitely going to change over the next 90 minutes or so, but we are losing this fight. For all those parents who want to try to keep cell phones out of their kids' hands at a young age, I feel like in 5 years, we're going to do this poll, and it's going to be about talking about, like, wait till they're 8 years old instead of 8th grade, because it just seems like it keeps going younger and younger.
Oh boy, I think there's going to be a backlash.
I hope so.
Like
my daughter's only 4, and so we got a long way to go, and I hope in that time, like, a big change will happen.
I'm predicting 1st grade for your daughter.
No,
I'm telling you, it's just crazy now. More and more kids are getting them in primary school.
I know, but that's parents'
But it's a long way off.
They can be exposed to cell phones, but Nina doesn't have to get one for a little girl.
I have more to say to you because I remember you saying something on this show about a year ago about this, so I'm going to bring it back up next hour. A little tease, if you will. One more chance to look at the poll right here. Again, you can find this pinned to the top of our KGW Sunrise Twitter page. I think we have that poll to show you again. There it is. So again, primary
it's already
school,
changed. It's half and half.
Things are moving.
Middle and high school.
People are up, Rod Hill.
Things
People
are
reacting
changing live.
to the poll. What do you got for us weather-wise?
I've got my own viewer question. At what age should your kid get a part-time job so they can pay their own cell phone bill?
Another good one.
All right, here we go. We have a storm front moving on. You can see the curl of clouds back here. So we're just starting to see rain showers pick up in the area, but this will be filling in. And by the time we get into, say, 8 o'clock this morning, maybe even closer to 7, it'll be fairly steady rain outside. And the heaviest of the rain will come in the afternoon for Portland, Salem, and Vancouver as that cold front crosses I-5 at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, it looks like. Early morning numbers, Baker City 33, Bend 41. We do have a mix of clouds pushing out across the east this morning. We have cloudy skies with rain showers picking up here on the west side. Temps aren't bad, but they're not going to warm up today because the rain's going to be coming in. Here's Futurecast 8:30 this morning. Here's the heavier rain already starting to hit the coast. The steady stuff filling into the valley. 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now we're getting into some heavier rain up and down I-5. Breezy south winds ahead of the front could be gusting to about 35. There's a frontal band at 3 p.m. Now watch how that moves off, and by late afternoon, certainly 5 o'clock, maybe even 4, this shows you 6, it's pretty quiet this evening behind that front, and whatever gusty winds we get will quickly be calming down as well. So temperatures low 50s, and that could happen when the front passes and we hit our highs today, 5, 6, even 7 o'clock this evening. When it's raining, I mean, it could be 47, 48 degrees at noon today with the rain coming down. So cool, wet day expected. Tomorrow's dry until late day evening. I still expect showers both days this weekend, but not a lot of total rain. So I think there could be more dry time than wet time for the weekend. We don't really get another soak until we get into the mid part of next week, and that is your forecast.